listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here, am I on? If somebody responds.
It must be Wednesday, I call it hump day.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
Hump day!
Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
Hump day. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Hump Day in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. Phone lines are open, so feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977. You can also text the show at 732-9TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469. That's a great way to communicate with us as well. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show, while the station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are also on Twitch and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show as well. Our new YouTube channel is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Go there, like that, subscribe to that thing. We got all kinds of good video for you. Not just this stuff, not just these shows, but all kinds of good stuff there. You can check all of that out. Go to 977ESPN.com for the link to all of that. And while you're at it, get the app. Everybody's getting the app.
You can take it near, you can take it far, you can take it in your car, you can take it to a bar.
I mean, you want the app for a number of things. You can listen to the show live at the app. You can find a link to Zone 2 and Zone 3 there as well, which are our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Like Friday night, Scottsboro will be at Madison Academy. Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird will be on the call, one on air and online on our primary stream. You can listen to that game right there on your phone, on the app. And then on Zone 2, Huntsville High hosts Mountain Brook at Milton Frank Stadium with Austin Coletti and Drew DeArmond on the coverage of that game as well. So you could just go there to the app, you click the pull-down tab, you hit Zone 2, and boom, you hear that. And at 9:30, if the Madison Academy game isn't over yet, at 9:30 on air, what you do is you go there and you click on Zone 3, and you hear the North Alabama Scoreboard Show starts off, which we join on air once the Madison Academy game is done. So, I mean, it's all good, man. I mean, you got to go there. You got to get that stuff. We're becoming like we know that we're already, the Tennessee Valley Sports Authority. We know that we are everything to you for sports, but there you can get all of this good stuff. Coming up next week, you'll be able to listen to the Alabama game right there on your phone, on the app. You can listen to the Alabama game. You're out on the water. Listen to the Alabama game. Still summertime, you know what I mean? So Alabama and Miami are playing, and, Labor Day Sunday, you're grilling, you're out there, you're throwing a beanbag or a bocce ball, or you don't even know what a bocce ball is. You listen to the Alabama game on the app. It's incredible. Well, the Yankees used long balls from Giancarlo Stanton. When he plays like that, he's Giancarlo. When he plays like a stiff, he's Mike. But hey, you know what? I'll call you anything you want to call you when you're going to play like that. Again, hitting a long ball. DJ LeMahieu, Rougned Odor, who has one of my favorite all-time bat flips. I love Rougned Odor's bat flip. When he connects on one, he simply puts the head of the bat down and flings the handle down, puts his head down like he's all pissed off, puts his head down, slams the bat down, and takes off. It's quite entertaining. It's just like he hits it, he stops, puts the head of the bat down, flings the handle down. I wish we could have a bat flip for the radio show. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say something funny or something good or insightful every once in a while, about as often as Giancarlo Stanton hits a home run. I'll say something insightful, and then I wish I had like a mic flip. It's just like, something like that. Some kind of a bat flip. You got to flip my mic. Like that. You're missing all of this if you're not watching the show on the video. I'm doing a mic flip. I don't want to rip my mic off the boom. That would not be good. In any event, it was enough to get by the Braves 5-4 last night. Two very entertaining games. Two really good games. And it was the Yankees' 11th straight win. It's their longest winning streak in 36 years. Doesn't that surprise you? 11-game winning streak's a long winning streak in baseball. But it's been since 1985 since they did that. You would think that sometime never during the 4 World Series in 6 years, never they had a 11-game winning streak? Never. 1985. They sucked back then. And the 80s were dark days for the Yankees. 1985, last time they had an 11-game winning streak. But since the Phillies and the Mets lost, no blood for the Braves. Still up 4.5 in the NL East. And since it was the Rays that were the ones that beat the Phillies, the Yankees gained no ground in the AL East. So they're still 4 back with the second-best record in the entire American League. The New York and Boston are starting to pull away a little bit in a wild card race from Oakland and Seattle, setting up a possibility of an epic 1-game playoff, basically, to get into the real playoffs. I know they call it the wild card game. Let's be honest with you. It's a 1-game playoff, much like 1978 with the Bucky effing Dent game against Boston, although this one would be in New York right now the way the standings are. Oakland, which hosts New York this weekend for 4, is 2 behind Boston and Seattle, coming off the sweep. I should say Seattle is right there as well, just 3 back, coming off the sweep of the A's. The American League wildcard race is really something to keep an eye on. The Braves now get the Giants, who have the best record in all of baseball, in Atlanta this week, and then they head to L.A. to play the Dodgers, who have the second-best record in all of baseball. Remember when I said that I felt like they had to go 4-4? If they could just split these 8 games with the Yankees, the Giants, and the Dodgers. If they could just split those and go 4-4, because 5 of the 8 were at home, just split them and go 4-4, you'd be okay. Now they're off to an 0-2 start, so they have to actually win both those series. They have to win the series against the Giants at home, and then they got to go to L.A. and win that series to get to 4-4. Coming up this hour, we have a Caray's. No, we don't. I'm upside down. Coming up this hour, Kevin Rogers will join us from Vegas Insider. Grizz is like, what the hell are you talking about, man? I looked at the schedule. I know I looked at the schedule. No, it's Kevin Rogers coming up this hour from Vegas Insider and WTAM in Miami. He's going to join us on Tua's development with the Dolphins and Derek King and the Hurricanes. Still holding an 18.5-point dog to the Tide in Atlanta next Saturday. Maybe I'll squeeze him for a pick on a Nebraska-Illinois game as well, which is this Saturday. College football, big noon, which is big 11 for us, at Saturday, Nebraska-Illinois. Actual Power 5 Big Ten game. And then coming up in hour number 2, Josh Caray of the Trash Pandas with a Caray's Corner. The boys are in Biloxi beating up on the former Stars. Look, they're just 2.5 games back of Birmingham for a spot in the championship series right now. Most likely against the Mississippi Braves, who had the best record in the Southern League. So this is getting kind of exciting. They have one 6-game series left in Birmingham next month as well. 2 home series left. Did I get this right? I hope I gave it to Grizz right. Grizz, you got it right? Is that the way? That's what it looks like to you, right? I'm showing it to Grizz on the camera. You guys can see what my cheat sheet looks like right there on the camera if you see that. That's my schedule. I've had that thing for 15 years, too. we planned this thing. I know it sounds like verbal diarrhea. It's not. We planned this. We planned this actual sports talk radio show. So the latest number one recruit in the class of 2022 as a new top 3. What happened? I thought I guess because he went to Ohio State already, Quinn Ewers. So he was the number one recruit in the 2022 class, but he's not in the 2022 class anymore, right? Because he's already at Ohio State. So the new number one recruit in the entire class has a new top 3. Defensive lineman Walter Nolan. The beast, a man among boys. This is what normally happens when you get a kid that's bigger than everybody else in high school. He is named Georgia, Texas A&M, and Tennessee. Tennessee as his final 3. He has eliminated Florida, Michigan, and Alabama. A&M wasn't even in the kid's original top 5 a month and a half ago. He did a top 5. A&M wasn't even in it. Now A&M's in his final 3. Nolan enrolled in a Knoxville area school for this season. He went from one end of the state of Tennessee to the other because he was in Cordova, Tennessee, which is all the way over there in West Tennessee at Benedict Auburndale. And now he went all the way to Knoxville. You can't go to, from Knoxville to Cordova is like 1,000,000 miles. It's got to be 5.5 hours anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. Where's Cordova, Tennessee? I might have just made that up. I might have put the crack research team on it. I think Cordova, Tennessee is over by Memphis. That's what I thought. The hell do I know? I may be totally wrong on that. But in any event, why do these kids name a top 5 or a top 3 like a year ahead of their commitment? Well, what? Why? Who cares? I mean, we care, but really, it has zero significance. Here's my top 5. Doesn't have A&M in it. A month later, here's my top 3. It's got A&M in it. Does this kid actually think that by eliminating Florida, Michigan, and Alabama, that Florida, Michigan, and Alabama are going to stop calling on him? Just because he said Georgia, Tennessee, and the Aggies? Having said that, let me tell you something. This would be an absolute game changer for Josh Heupel in Tennessee. If Tennessee were to land the number 1 pick in the country, the number 1 recruit in the country were to pick the Tennessee Volunteers, who God knows what's going to happen with that investigation that's going on with them. But if this kid were to say, I'm going to Josh Heupel in Tennessee, kids all over the country who can't even spell Heupel or Tennessee would start looking at Tennessee. It's not like the old days when Tennessee used to recruit nationally and Philip Fulmer used to bring people in from all over the place. It's not like that anymore. The kids that are seniors in high school this year were 3 years old the last time Tennessee won a top 10 game, beat a top 10 team. They were 3 years old. This generation of kids, they don't know anything about Tennessee in the glory days. They think Tennessee has sucked forever. They don't know. But land the number 1 kid in the country, and it was a game changer if Tennessee were to get this kid. He said that he'll end up at Alabama or Georgia because they're not in his top 3. And there are a few tweaks to the college football rules, one of which I really, really don't like. And I need to get to this. Grizz, make yourself a note. Remind me at 11:25 to get into this tweak of the college football rules, because there's one thing that I have a real red butt about. I need to get it in there. I think I need to get that in there. And Sony Michel has been traded to the Rams for a 4th and a 5th. This kid was a first-round draft pick, late first round of the New England Patriots, and famously picked ahead of Nick Chubb. Everybody is always going to say that. He was picked ahead of Nick Chubb, who is infinitely better than him as a pro. In all fairness, Nick Chubb had some gruesome injuries. Nick Chubb was considered an injury liability in college. And Sony Michel's numbers were very, very much the same as Nick Chubb's. They both averaged 6.2 yards a carry. Michel was considered had a little less tread on him, was healthier, and was a little better out of the backfield. The Browns take Nick Chubb in the top of the second round, and think about it. I think the two best running backs in the entire NFL, all due respect to Alvin Kamara, but I think the two best running backs in the NFL are Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. And they were both drafted at the top of the second round. Remember that when we're doing draft stuff. Derrick Henry, top of the second round. Nick Chubb, top of the second round. All right, over there in the little glass room. I was waiting for him to get back in the little glass room. I looked over there, and I couldn't see him anymore. I'm like, oh, where'd he go? Playing the Plaza Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones, keeping us on the air. He's not too bent out of shape about the Braves losing because the Phillies lost and the Mets lost. So the Braves, no blood right now. Coach Grizz.
Do you know who I am?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and pollen.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
You don't ever say that to me. Bullcrap.
There won't be any misinformation. There won't be any false statements. There won't be any hearsay.
How come there ain't no Puerto Ricans on Star Trek?
When you ask me those kind of questions, it really pisses me off.
Can you get me off the hook for old time's sake?
You ask a question every week that I don't know anything about.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
You do what everybody else in the media does, just create some and throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
I ain't gonna be buried. I want a taxidermist to stuff me.
Say hello to my new friend.
Hey, Grizz, how you doing today?
I'm doing okay. No, yes, I'm all right. I'm okay with the Braves
yes. You
losing.
always say that. No, yes. I don't know what that means. No, yes.
I'm saying, like, because we were talking about the Braves earlier. I'm doing all right. I'm doing just fine. The Braves losing, that is okay. All right? Anytime the Phillies lose, it is a great day.
Yeah.
Anytime the Mets lose, for sure, that is a great day. Even though I've had mad respect for many years for many Mets players more than any other team, I think, in the East. But other than that, we didn't talk too much about it, but, Falcons did sign Josh Rosen. So he, the time is coming. The Savior is here.
What time is
the Savior is here. Josh Rosen is here.
Playing on his 19th team in 2 years.
Sony Michel to the Rams. That's crazy. Now I'm gonna have to think a little different when I do fantasy now, because now.
Well, you had him on your list.
Well, he could go. Really? He could go from being like a backup running back to now a starting running back. So that could be huge in fantasy.
It could be.
I mean, seriously. I mean, when you're looking at running backs,
that's like Georgia West over there, right? They got Matt Stafford as the quarterback. And, his position coach over there at the running backs coach for the Rams is a former Georgia guy, too. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I didn't know that, but it just seems like if I was Sony Michel, they have 5 running backs. They have 2 guys right now that they drafted, the last 2 years, I think this year and last year, and Stevenson, and then some little running back guy that, I didn't expect Sony Michel to even stay on that team for very long, because Stevenson had 2 great games in the preseason where he had close to 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, the guy's playing out of his mind, and he's not even a first-round pick. And so if you're looking at Sony Michel in fantasy, that's something huge, because, he's going to go from being, 1 and 2 or the one guy rather than being the third guy, because he could be behind Rex Burkhead if he was still on the roster. And I'm not even sure if he's still on the roster right now.
No, he's not.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Good job by me. Cordova is out there by Memphis. All right, so let me do a mic flip. Oh, I don't. Let me do a
throw it up
flip.
in there.
There, right, there's a bottle flip.
You got to land it, though. Flip. You have to land it, though.
Oh, that would be hard to do. With nothing in it? You can't land with nothing.
You got
you could
land it.
Maybe.
You could land it with nothing in it. You just got to try harder.
Diet green tea, by the way, to get the show going. It's got a little.
I need to drink more green
kick.
tea and water.
It gives me a little kick. All right, let me get these guys in here. Mark is up first. Mark, welcome to the show. How are you?
All right, good. How are you, man?
I'm fantastic. Haven't heard from you in a minute.
Yeah, I know, right? Mark gets crazy, bro.
I hear that.
We'll keep the Braves talk going. Is anybody else? Is it just me, or does anybody else feel sorry for Charlie Morton a little bit? he pitches gems just about every time he goes out, and I feel like he don't get the run support he needs.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, they got some pretty good. The Yankees have gotten some pretty good pitching as well, but that happens. You have guys, Jordan Montgomery's like that. He's had a great season in terms of ERA and no run support. So we see that happen all the time. The good thing that you need to, the good vibe that you need to have right now is that you got Charlie Morton. He's pitching really well, and the only reason you had gotten him was for October, and it looks like October's a distinct possibility now for the Braves. So the reason you got him, and with everybody else being out, from a pitching standpoint, with Soroka and all the other guys that are out, you're damn lucky you got him. So I think I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with the way they played the last two games. I just think they ran into an absolute buzzsaw right now. Now they can't go and drop 2 out of 3 to the Giants and drop 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. They gotta do something here this
right.
weekend against good teams.
Oh, well, let me ask you this. So, we're going to kind of have to trim down as far as pitching stuff goes. Who do you see going from the starting rotation maybe to the bullpen? I feel like maybe Tukey and Waskar maybe.
Oh, not Waskar. No.
Waskar's tough.
Yeah, it's pitching good.
He's good starting.
Yeah, no, I think I think I don't think you mess with Yanoa right now. I mean, that kid is pitching really, really well. He looked good the other day. I thought you were going to say you feel sorry for Yanoa because he pitched so well and he ended up getting tagged, in that game. But I don't know that I would mess with him right now.
Well, you got Ian coming back, and
yeah,
you got Tukey. Yeah, he's been pitching really well. So, I mean,
I like Yanoa better than Tukey. I think Tukey is the one that goes to the. I think Tukey goes to the bullpen if anything. I like Yanoa better than I do Drew Smiley. I mean, I think right now if Ian is good, healthy, I think you got Charlie Morton, Max Fried, Ian Anderson, and Oscar Yanoa. I think that's your rotation.
Well, so what do you do with Smiley then?
I think Smiley's long relief. I think
he done paid him too much.
Yeah, but I still think he's long relief in the playoffs. I think he's the guy that comes in if any of these guys get in trouble and you got to bring a guy in the 4th inning or something. It would be Drew Smiley. That's the way I would do it.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Give him the long relief role.
Yeah.
Tomlin ain't cutting it.
All right, man. I appreciate the call. It's a good job by you.
No problem.
All right. Get Ray Dog in here quick, too. Ray Dog, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, how about you?
You coming to the remote tomorrow night? Are you coming to the draft or what? You going to play fantasy with us?
I'm not going to play fantasy this year. I got too much on my plate. I've got the daughter flying in this evening to spend the week with me. So it'll be the first time I've got all 3 kids in the same place in 6 years.
Wow, good for you.
So I am otherwise occupied.
All right.
But staying with baseball.
Yeah.
I know me talking baseball, it's like somebody else talking Greek.
2 baseball calls right off the top of the show. Nice.
I think there's an interesting situation out west that probably nobody's paying attention to. What if I told you there was a team that's been outscored since May 1st by 57 runs, but they're 54-46 since May 1st?
54-46 since May 1st. Are you talking about Seattle, maybe, or the Angels?
Hits it.
Huh?
It's Seattle.
Seattle, yeah. Yeah, Seattle's out of their mind right now. They just swept the Oakland A's, and now only 3 games out of the playoffs. Seattle.
And listen, I think they've got the best schedule in baseball to make the playoffs. They've got 6 games in the last 5 weeks against the worst team in the National League. They've got 6 games against Kansas City, and the last 10 games of the season are against the Angels and Oakland, both of whom they have a winning record against.
Yeah, that's interesting.
By the way,
they could sneak in there. I mean, it depends on what Boston and they're 5.5 back in the division, but it depends really on what Boston. It looks like the Yankees are solid. I don't think the Yankees are falling out of that wild card race now. They're looking up, not down. Boston is the one that's a little bit vulnerable right now in that second wild card, but you're still 3 there. You're 5.5 back of Houston in the division. ESPN pegs them at a 4.5% chance of making the playoffs. So they got them as a 95.5% chance of missing the playoffs. All because of their first month of the season.
And Seattle's also got a 3-game set against Boston coming up.
Yeah, well, that'll be huge. That'll be huge.
And a little nugget. Seattle's 26-14 in one-run games.
Now, good stuff. All right, Ray Dog. Good take by you, man.
Catch you.
I got a jet. We are so far past the hour. All right, let's get breaking and we'll come back. Kevin Rogers is next. Vegas Insider WTAM in Miami on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
Former YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul and former UFC champion Tyron Woodley will battle in the ring Saturday. Paul coming in the favorite, -200, Woodley +160. You have to bet $200 to profit $100 with a Paul win, while a $100 bet on Woodley will profit you $160. The Formula One Belgian Grand Prix this weekend, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton each at +100 odds, Sergio Perez at +1400, and Valtteri Bottas at +2000. The 2021 BMW Championship underway Thursday. John Rahm the favorite at +650, followed by Justin Thomas at +1600, Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele at +2000, Bryson DeChambeau at +2200.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Now welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. All right, joining us now, well, we always introduce him as being with Vegas Insider because he is with Vegas Insider, but he's also with WTAM in Miami, so he's following a lot of things that are going on in Miami very closely. He is, of course, our good friend Kevin Rogers, and he's on the Neighbors. Oh, we just lost him. Okay, he's coming back in here. Anyway, K-Raj will be on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline as soon as we get him back on the line here as well. We got to get his thoughts about, Tua Tagovailoa on how he has looked in Miami, and then, of course, the Miami Hurricanes and Derek King. Derek King's running his mouth a lot, man. I don't know if he's writing checks with his mouth that his butt can't cash or not, but we'll see whether or not Derek King can do some of the things that he said he could do. Having said that, 18.5 points, a team with an established quarterback versus a team with a first-time starter, and so many first-time starters on the Crimson Tide, offensively especially. You almost you wish you had a minute to shake that out. And I know that what their record is in these early season games, it's phenomenal. I get that. I think the last time they didn't cover the spread in one of these early season games was against West Virginia. And they went on to have a great season that year. Everybody lost their mind because they only beat West Virginia by 10 that year. And they were like 11 or 12-point favorites. Or they were maybe 10-point favorites and won by 7 or something. I don't know. That was a good West Virginia team. But they're 18.5-point favorites over the Miami Hurricanes. All right, Kevin Rogers is back on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. K-Raj, welcome in. How are you?
Tom, good to talk to you again. We finally reached the college football season. It took long enough.
Isn't that something? And the first 2 calls I took on the show today were baseball calls. You believe that? I mean, with the Braves and the Yankees playing those 2 games and the free-for-all that is the American League wild card and Seattle coming on and the Braves now having to play San Francisco and the Dodgers, and all of a sudden with a 4.5-game lead in the NL East. It's amazing. I actually took 2 baseball calls to start the show.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot of interesting storylines. Moving forward, obviously the Yankees on fire, which is going to be a big story. The way, Shohei Ohtani has been this year, and he pitches tonight against a team that's lost 19 straight games.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on, and really it's a good thing. It really is. And it still amazes me, Tom, how we played a 60-game season last year.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. That, when you look at it, how condensed it was, and how this year, obviously you're playing 100 more games, but it just feels a lot more natural than last year, which was, a freaking marathon, or excuse me, a freaking sprint.
Yeah.
Playing the 60 games, but at least now we're kind of back to normal with it.
Playoff tournament, I called it. I don't even call it World Series. I don't acknowledge the MVP. I don't acknowledge the World Series win by the Dodgers. It was a tournament. It was a 60-game qualifier for a tournament, and that's what it was. And I love Freddie Freeman, but look at what Freddie Freeman scuffled for the first 60 games this year. And now he's come out like gangbusters. He's hitting like 300 with 27 bombs. And, so if you took the last 60 games of Freddie Freeman, he'd be the MVP again. So you don't win the MVP on 60 games, So I know he was the MVP of that, but I don't compare that MVP to full season MVPs. I can't do it. You can't do it.
But still, I mean, the sample size. I mean, it's still. Look, I still don't think it was a phony season. I don't believe in that. I mean, the Dodgers were the best team. They won the World Series. The Braves had 3 shots to knock the Dodgers out in the NLCS. They couldn't do it. So it just was. Again, last year, things were a little, obviously a lot different than we were used to. But they also didn't play a 10-game season either. I mean, I think the 60-game sample, you still have the 2 best teams left in the World Series, and it was what it was. At least we got a season out of it.
Yeah, no, it was. But it'd be like a 6-game season in the NFL or a 5-game season I mean, when you look at a percentage of what the normal season would be. Kevin Rogers with us here. Everybody is focused on the rookie quarterbacks and which one's going to be great and which one's going to be suck. We know that half of them are going to suck. Everybody thinks that all 5 of these first-round rookie quarterbacks are going to be Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? The way we talk about them. In reality is the numbers tell us over the last 20 years that half of those guys are going to wash out. But the second-year guys are kind of interesting as well, including Tua Tagovailoa, who's like not a full-blown second-year guy because they had nothing last year. These second-year guys are almost like rookies this year because they had so little, time to prep last year and practice time and snaps and camps and OTAs and minicamp. They had none of that. And all of a sudden, Tua looks pretty good. I mean, he looks pretty damn good there in Miami. What's the buzz right now about Tua Tagovailoa that maybe he is what they thought they were drafting with the 5th pick overall last year?
Well, here's the problem, Tom, is that you throw out Burrow because he was never going to go to the Dolphins. And obviously the question was going to be, you're going to draft Tua or Justin Herbert. And I still believe, no matter what Justin Herbert did last year, if for whatever reason the Dolphins passed on Tua, who they wanted at number 1, and the Dolphins fell to 5, and Tua fell to 5, that, if they would have got Justin Herbert, something would have happened where he would have been a bust because it's the Dolphins. Just something would have happened, and you would have said forever, why didn't you take Tua? He was there. And then it turned out Herbert had a really good season with the Chargers, even though they blew a lot of games, and Herbert got in because the team doctor stabbed Tyrod Taylor, and Herbert had to go in. So I think a lot of people forget that Herbert didn't, win the job. He got it due to circumstance. And he played very well for the Chargers, but also he's in a division, too, that he's not winning that division for a long time as long as Patrick Mahomes is there. Now, on the flip side, you say, well, we say the same thing with Josh Allen in Buffalo. I don't necessarily know that's the case if Buffalo's going to have a stranglehold on the division like Kansas City would in their division. But getting back to Tua, look, he was put in a situation where, as you mentioned, last year no one had preseason to work with. He goes right out of the gate where he's on the bench behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, which was the right move. But then they made that kind of crazy move after the bye week to put Tua in, and they won games with Tua. Maybe he didn't have great numbers, but also when Shane Gailey was the offensive coordinator, he may have handcuffed Tua a little bit, not let him do what he could do, what we saw at Alabama. I just think that Tua now, that not worrying about somebody right behind the veteran replacing him, Jacoby Brissett is his backup this year. I don't think he's going to take his job. I just think that Tua now, there's the confidence there. It's like your team. It's not about, you have to win the job like Urban Meyer says in Jacksonville, which is ridiculous. But, it's your team now, and you don't have to worry about a veteran behind you. We're going to pull you. And again, we haven't played a regular season game yet, so we don't know. And they played New England and Buffalo right out of the gate. But I just think that Tua now, the confidence is going to be there this year.
And then all of a sudden, now they get Will Fuller back, and you look at, wait a minute, the team that had no receivers, Will Fuller, Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle is going to be a thing. Thank God he wasn't hurt bad in that game last week. Preston Wilson, Williams, Albert Wilson. So all of a sudden, this receiving core maybe doesn't suck. I mean, maybe they got something going on.
Yeah, and you know what, too, Tom, that even the Jalen Waddle play that you're talking about, on that block where you're like, oh, my God, are you kidding me? In the second preseason game, this guy's going to get hurt, and he had 3 catches for 21 yards on that drive. But thankfully, it turned out to be nothing, which, it would have been so Dolphins that, something like that would have happened. And just because I feel like there's a curse, on this franchise since Marino left. But, no, Jalen Waddle, look, the Dolphins did something they don't normally do, is they addressed getting a skill position player in the draft the last few years under Brian Flores. And, it used to always be the joke here, they're getting an offensive tackle in the first round, offensive tackles. It only takes you so far. I mean, the Dolphins, we talked about it on the pregame show last week. The Dolphins, if you remember, in 2008, after they went 1-15 in 2007, they had the first pick of the draft. They drafted Jake Long out of Michigan. Okay, great offensive lineman, but who was there on the board? Matt Ryan, because they're playing the Falcons. And yes, Matt Ryan hasn't won a Super Bowl. We know how close they were against the Patriots, but you see what Matt Ryan's done in Atlanta over all these years, that if the Dolphins would have taken a quarterback then, maybe things changed. Remember they had the chance to get Breeze when Saban was here, and they didn't do it, and they had a chance to get Matt Ryan, and it didn't work out. So they need to get that quarterback. They need to get skill position players, and they did that by getting Jalen Waddle, who played with Tua at Alabama, and you mentioned the receivers, the running backs, if Myles Gaskin can have a good season, maybe the Dolphins have a shot here, but remember, they won 10 games last year, missed the playoffs. So, that's asking a lot to, duplicate that. Because the AFC, it's still very tough.
All right, before I let you go, Derek King continues to run his mouth for the Hurricanes. Of course, he has to have confidence in his team to win the game. He doesn't have to talk about it and give bulletin board material out there. But they're 18.5-point dogs. They do have an established quarterback. Alabama is breaking in a lot of new players on offense. It feels like that's a really big number for this, and there's always that public, number that Alabama gets now. It seems a little bit of inflated of a number, but do you give the Hurricanes any chance of keeping that game close in Atlanta?
I mean, I look at it, Tom, as a stay away from game, just because we know what Alabama is, we know who they lost, but also we know they can reload. And Derek King, I'm sure the knee is not going to be an issue, so that's not a concern. And he had a great season last year at Miami, but, I don't know. That's a lot of points, and I don't want to feel like I can say, I'm going to take the points with Miami, because remember what the old rule of thumb is? If you're going to take points with someone, you think they're going to win. Unless you're taking 40 because you think that maybe someone's going to hang around, but don't take Miami plus the points you think they're going to hang around. Take them because you think they're going to win, and then the points are insurance, all right? That's what I've always learned.
It's a lot of insurance.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
Yeah,
but at the same time, though, you're telling me, with Alabama, we saw it last year. I mean, it's very easy to have a 21-14 game at the half or something like that, and then Alabama explodes and they win the game by 20. And it could still be a close game throughout, but then Alabama opens it up. So that's where I just think that out of all the games to choose from that first Saturday, there's so many better options in that game, personally.
All right, I appreciate you so much.
You watch the game, but just don't bet it.
Yeah, we'll be watching the game. Yep. We'll be watching the game.
Yep.
Next week, we're going to ask you about Clemson, Georgia, and get some feedback on those kind of games as well. But I really appreciate you, and tell people how they can listen to you, by the way, because I know you're doing all kinds of stuff, podcasts and all kinds of other stuff. How can they find you?
I don't even know where I'm starting with. We have our live stream on VegasInsider.com. It actually coincides with your show, so I won't promote that since your show. People want to listen to your show first. But you can also watch the live stream, the recorded version or the tape delay version, as we would call it. You can find it on VegasInsider.com. We go over kind of the sports betting news of the day. And also we have the Bet and Collect podcast. You could find all of that on VegasInsider.com. But remember, listen to Tom first, then listen to me on delay.
There you go. Or they can, if they do listen to you, they can always come back and listen to us on delay because we're also taped video and
that too.
audio.
Yeah, you can listen to me live, listen to you on delay. So it's one or the other.
Live almost doesn't even matter anymore. It's ridiculous. Everything is out there, audio and video now. Everything is out there so people can consume it any way they want. You can't even do radio ratings anymore. We have so many people that consume us in so many different ways now. It's absolutely incredible. All right, I appreciate you.
Can I say one thing before I leave? Can I say one thing? I never watch any TV live. As far as shows, everything is recorded, and I fast forward through the commercials.
No doubt. I even do that with baseball. I love baseball, but I always start, the baseball games. I'm in the Central Time Zone, so the games start at 6 for me in the Eastern Time Zone, and I'll always start the Yankees or the Braves game on the DVR and then let it roll for about 40, 45 minutes, and then after dinner start watching the game. I got to put my phone away so I don't get notifications, but I always watch it that way. It's a lot faster. You can watch a 3.5-hour baseball game in 2.5 hours without all the delays and walking around and commercials and everything else. So I'm
telling you, it's the way to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Our shows? Oh, forget about it. We haven't watched a show live in 10 years. My wife and I haven't watched one of our shows live in 10 years. I don't even know what night Chicago Wednesday is, except for it's, Chicago Wednesday. Because we watch all three of the Chicagos. We watch them on Thursday. Or sometime we'll start after the first one is over, and then we can watch them all lock and load. But the NCIS, the Law and Orders, criminal, law and order, organized crime, SVU.
Really?
Grizz, we don't watch any of that stuff live. None of our shows we watch live. We always watch them on Memorex.
Well, like, everything's easier now, and that's why I hate when, like, Netflix will do, like, a new show, and then you can watch, like, the whole season right then and there, so I don't try to binge watch too much. But I still do watch shows that come on TV when they come on live. Like, I still look forward to some shows like Rick and Morty, and I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that look forward to that show when it comes on every night.
But even on Chicago Wednesday, or a show that's every night, I always watch it start an hour later. You know, same night, but an hour later, so that we watch it the way we want to watch it. We just don't watch any of our shows live. I mean, nothing. None of her HGTV shows that we watch, we don't watch live.
Hard Knocks, I used to be about that. Like, I used to be like ready to watch it live that night, but this year I fall asleep before it comes on, or I just forget about it and then end up watching it later. But I used to be really big on that show.
Yeah, those Netflix ones that drop, or Prime Video or whatever that drop, the whole like Virgin River is what show that we watch. It has 10 episodes per season. We watched we watched the 10 shows in 2 days. We just watched the 10 shows in 2 days, and the whole season's over. And we got to wait another year for it to come out again. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that way. Yellowstone is that way. They drop the whole season, and then you just watch the season, and you watch the season. They used to take 5 months to watch a season. You watch the season in 3 days, and you wait 361 days for the season to start again.
That's why I enjoyed The Mandalorian, because every week, Loki, all of those shows. I was looking forward to a lot of those shows.
Any of that is,
it's all that Marvel stuff.
Heard of those shows.
Well, all that fantasy and Marvel stuff.
You at least heard of my shows. I never even heard of those shows. It's crazy. All right, I'm going to get a break. We will come back, wrap up hour number 1 next, right here at 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Ann Adams. Ann, I understand you have some exciting news.
Yes, Wes, I do. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services was just recognized in the 30th Annual Harris Poll Equitrin as the Real Estate Agency Brand of the Year and the most trusted real estate brand.
That is awesome news, Ann. Great companies in Huntsville, Alabama, winning awards is what we want. Is it a great time to list your home?
Yes, it is. The inventory is low and the market is heating up.
And I understand you're also looking for agents.
I am. We are so busy, Wes, we need agents to keep up with the demand.
Ann Adams and Rise Real Estate has been doing business in North Alabama for the last 35 years. If you want to do business with someone you can trust, she has been writing contracts since she was 9 years old. Call Ann today at 256-337-2625.
Have you got your tickets yet? Single game tickets for the Rocket City Trash Pandas full season are still available. Every Friday and Saturday night at Toyota Field ends with fireworks, and after the completion of every Sunday game, kids get to run the bases. You can reserve your spot at Toyota Field for any of the remaining Trash Pandas home games right now. Go to trashpandasbaseball.com to get your tickets while supplies last. Trash Pandas Baseball. Ignite the season.
We love our pets, and when we need boarding or vet services, we want the best. That's why we chose Paradise Pet Resort and Spa. Everything our pets needed, all in one place. Boarding for both dogs and cats. Doggy daycare, grooming and spa services, web cameras, and top-notch vet care, too. It's a true Paradise Pet Resort for your furry friends, serving all of North Alabama. Find out everything you need to know and book services online at ParadisePetResortAndSpa.com. Located in Madison, just off 565 at Wall Triana, behind Cracker Barrel.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
From the WZDX Bend Point Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-90s. Heat indices anywhere between 103 and 107 degrees. Unlike the last couple of days where we stayed dry through the heart of the afternoon, I think a couple of extremely isolated, widely scattered showers are going to be possible across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Don't let this scare you. Odds are better than not. Your Wednesday afternoon and even your Wednesday evening probably going to end up staying dry. But there is a chance of an isolated passing shower. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Chris and I were just talking off air about the whole 17-game season and everything that's coming up, and nobody's going to play. None of the starters are going to play this week of preseason, so you're going to have a bunch of teams that didn't play their starters at all the entire week. Baker Mayfield is not. Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, none of those guys, that offensive line, none of those people are playing against the Atlanta Falcons. Will Matt Ryan play? Probably not. I mean, I'm guessing that he won't play. My guess is that the start will go to Felipe Franks with Josh Rosen getting some snaps. I mean, it's kind of how I think that they're going to end up going. But, for fantasy, all we ever talk about is these, position players. I wish there was a way, Grizz. Have you ever played in a fantasy league where there was a way to get an offensive line, like where you could draft a team's offensive line?
I've never done it, no.
Think about it.
I'm sure you could. You could grade them somehow. I don't know how you could grade them.
It's easy to grade them.
Pancakes?
You grade them based on how many yards rushing and how many sacks they allow. So, in other words, if they had – no, really, I'm saying if the team has between 100 and 125 yards, you get 2 points. If they had rushing. If they have between 125 and 150, you get 3. If they have between 150 and 200 yards, you get 4. And over 200 yards rushing, you get 5. And then – you have to, if they give up a sack, you lose a point for every sack they give up. You know what I mean? So if they give up no sacks and the team runs for over 200 yards, 5 points for the offensive line.
It would have to be like a whole thing, like defensive, like the defensive thing. Like it would have to be a whole thing, not just an individual player, I would feel.
No, it has to be the group. The
yeah, the whole group.
Line.
Maybe the whole
you
group.
Draft the offensive. I'm going to ask Buddy Andre that tomorrow when we do our preview for fantasy because our draft is tomorrow night. All right, coming up next, Josh Caray, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great-grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. Another marquee name has withdrawn from next week's U.S. Open. Serena Williams is out with a torn hamstring. She hasn't played since suffering the injury in her first-round match at Wimbledon in June. Williams joins Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in sitting out tennis's final major tournament of the year. Serena's 23 Grand Slam titles are one shy of the all-time record. NFL, Rams acquired Sony Michel from the Patriots, adding much-needed depth at running back. 2 conditional draft picks heading to New England in return. With Cam Akers out for the season with a torn Achilles, Darrell Henderson's taken over as the starter, and Michel provides the Rams with some much-needed depth behind Henderson. Giants tight end Kyle Rudolph returning to practice today, but on a very limited basis. Rudolph, one of New York's most significant free agent acquisitions this offseason, has been on the PUP list, recovering from foot surgery.
He's bald, he's opinionated, and he's here.
You're morally reprehensible, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Listen to Feinbaum, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Yeah, I know K-Raj always has about 10 minutes. He always says that he has about 10 minutes. I'm just in the middle of a conversation with Grizz. He always says he has about 10 minutes, and then he says, let me say one more thing. And then he says, let me say one more thing. Am I lying? He always tells us, I got 10 minutes. Tell Tom I got 10 minutes. And he just goes on and on and on. Moulton has been out of shape about the instant replay in the Braves game yesterday. Look, Freddie was out. Freddie didn't argue. He was out. They called him out. There was nothing there that would tell you that he wasn't out. Freddie was out.
Yeah, I watched it a couple times, and I can agree. He was out, yeah. And it was a close tag, too, but I mean,
It was close, but he was out. He was ruled out. There was nothing there to say he wasn't out, and Freddie never argued. I defer to Freddie on that because he didn't argue. And then on the play at second, was it Adam Duvall that went sliding into second? He beat the throw, but he hopped off the bag. It was like he was in, his foot was in before the tag of Odor, but then Odor had the ball, he had his glove on his belly. And his leg came off the bag and he was out.
And I wonder if he's talking about the replay on Peterson because Peterson swung, but it did hit him. Right too. And I'm doing the quotations, so
it did hit him though. Because Peterson said it hit him.
Yeah.
So it hit him, and it's an automatic dead ball. You don't have to pick the ball up and throw it to first. I mean, they were all tough calls. They were close calls, but it kind of is what it is. Duvall can't get thrown out at second there. He doesn't need to be stretching that right there. That's a bad second out to be taking that out at second. That was a big moment in time. All right, joining us now, talk some baseball. And the famous broadcasting Caray's Josh Caray. Josh, welcome to the show. How are you?
Tom, how are you, buddy?
Fantastic. I really enjoyed the last two nights. I know it was tough for the Braves, but those were very, very competitive games. In Atlanta, and I know you at least got to see Monday night's game because of the, you guys got Mondays off. So, but there were really good games between two really hot and really good teams, and no blood for Atlanta because Philadelphia lost anyway.
Yeah, Philly loses anyway, and at the end of the day, if you're going to lose your winning streak to someone, it may as well be another good team, which is what the Yankees are. And they're kind of like Atlanta, aren't they? They're hitting the stride at the right moment. And, for Atlanta, because the Phillies lost, you don't feel any sweat off your back. You get a couple of days off now and hopefully get back on track Friday. You're going to have another tough series with the Giants coming in. If there's one problem I have, though, and let's just all call it what it is, Atlanta's taking advantage of a lot of really bad teams of late. And that's great. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. I kind of want to see them start beating some good teams. I mean, if you want to see them make a run in October, that needs to happen. So let's hope they can turn that around on Friday.
Well, I mean, you're going to get a chance the next 6 games. I mean, 3 against the best team in baseball with the Giants, and then you turn around and fly to L.A. and play 3 there. And riddle me this, 2 days off. I mean, who the hell ever gets 2 days off? It's not the All-Star break. They get 2 days off, play 3 against the Giants, get on a plane, and then start the series in L.A. on Monday. No day off to travel from Atlanta to L.A. after having 2 days off in the middle of a week. That's weird.
Yeah, and I don't know what that's all about. I've been doing a little bit of research trying to figure out why that turned out the way it is. Here's another deal. The Angels, obviously we're an Angels affiliate, so I keep up with them on a regular basis. They're off on Sunday, and that never happens. Sunday is basically a guaranteed game day for everyone, and they're going to be off. The only time I remember a team having an off day, with the exception of a rainout, I remember one time the Padres at Old Jack Murphy had scheduled a preseason game along with a Padres homestand when the Chargers were there. And so the Braves and San Diego had to play a doubleheader on Saturday so they could open up Sunday for the Chargers. But that's the only time I've heard of it. And I don't know if it's COVID related. I don't know if someone in the MLB commissioner's office made a mistake and it's all kind of trickling down. I don't know what the deal is, but it's one of those weird little things in the schedule. And I think it's coming at a good time, though. I mean, that gives the guys some time off their feet, and hopefully they can rejuvenate and get ready to go Friday.
When did I typically, when I watch the Yankees, I typically watch them on the extra innings. So I hear Michael Kay and the rotating group of color commentators that they have there, which is nuts. I mean, it's just too many guys. But in any event, but I got to listen to Chipper the last couple of days. Chip the last couple of days. Your brother, has he always done the thing where that ball was caught by a fan from Athens and this one is caught because somebody else used to do it? Was it your dad that did that, or was that a Harry thing? Is that a family thing? Who used to do that?
Well, I'll tell you what. Grandpa started it along with Phil Rizzuto.
Okay.
Yeah, Phil Rizzuto did a lot with the Yankees, and then it trickled down to Dad, and it trickled down to Chip, and I'm doing it as well. So yeah, it's kind of a little thing that we got going on, and it's my little way of paying acknowledgement to the family.
Yeah.
And I like to drop in little things like that from time to time. I'll always say hello again, everybody, or I'll say on this winning night in honor of Ernie Johnson Sr. Just things like that I like to drop in, but yeah, it's a little family thing that we've kept going as a tradition, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, no, that is cool. So, and so you had to. He always does it as a Georgia town. You know what I mean? He's always doing it as some city in Georgia. So you had to probably have to really familiarize yourself, especially in them home games. You know that this guy is from Decatur, and this guy is from Athens, and that guy is from Madison, and because you got to learn all these towns in the state of Alabama, right?
Yeah, you do that. A few of the southern Tennessee towns, and then when we go on the road, like we're in Biloxi right now, I'll say Biloxi or Ocean Springs or Hattiesburg or something like that, just depending on where we are. So, it's a little thing I keep going, and it's nice to kind of look around and see what's around you. Like southern Mississippi is just right up the road from here, so it's just little neat things like that you can point on a map and familiarize yourself with.
This is what broadcasters do during the day, right? I mean, when you wake up in the morning, you take your minute, start looking, you read the news, and then you have all this dead time. God, I remember doing football games, and the football teams would travel in, and you'd go in with them, and you'd be like 2 days before the game, and you just do nothing but sit around the hotel, and you start doing all this quirky research. So I guess that's probably, you probably spent some time looking at, Google Maps or something at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, during a road trip.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's harder here because we're here for an entire week.
Yeah.
So after the first 2 or 3 days, you're pretty good to go. It's the last 3 days that you got to really gut it out and try to find something to do. I get on YouTube a lot. Fortunately, we're in a pretty cool city, so I can kind of walk around a little bit, do some sightseeing. But, I remember when I was doing college football, those were great because you would go in on Friday, sleep, chill out with the team, and then play the game the next day and fly back that night. So this is a little different, but, you get used to it after a while and gives you a break from the regular routine.
No golf for you? You don't have the sticks in the car? I mean, you can play golf every morning. I always said if I was a broadcaster doing baseball and you'd go into these sittings, I'd play golf every morning back in the day when I used to play a lot of golf.
Yeah, some people do that. I know Sutton was big on that. Joe Simpson did it a little bit. I've never been a golfer. I don't have the patience for it, and I'm bad at it. So I got those two things working against me. So I try to avoid the links as much as I can. And it's so stinking hot down here, especially in Biloxi. It's just brutal. And so I'm trying to hang out in the hotel as much as possible, stay cool. and get ready for the game. Fortunately, we have HBO and Cinemax on in here, so I take advantage of that. And that's about it.
Yeah, you got me to talk to on Wednesday, so that's cool too. You can do that. Josh Caray with us.
Yeah, I got that too.
voice of the Trash Pandas. Oh, by the way, unless I'm reading this wrong, and I don't think I am, Trash Pandas down there beating up on the old Stars, and they should just keep beating up on them all week long because it's not a good team down there. And the Trash Pandas are like 2.5 games behind Birmingham, which is now Birmingham has jumped ahead of Montgomery for the second best record in the league. The two top records in the entire 8-team league will play the championship series in middle of September. And all of a sudden, I think the Trash Pandas are like 2.5 games out of that game, and they have a lot of work to do, 30 games left or whatever it is. But you got that big 6-game series coming up September 7th through the 12th in Birmingham. I mean, this could get pretty exciting down the stretch here. They got a chance. They're a live puncher's chance to get into that little championship series.
I'll tell you what, it's more than a puncher's chance because the team is actually playing really well. That's number one. Number two, the schedule is really light. You get Biloxi this week. You get Tennessee the next week, which is the last place team in the North. Tennessee's played Rocket City pretty tough, but those will be home games. Then, like you said, a head-to-head matchup with Birmingham, that'll be a chance to cut into the deficit. And then you finish up with a good Pensacola team that's been a little up and down. They don't hit well, but they pitch really well. And so there's going to be a lot of fun. I would say out of all the teams that are vying for the playoffs right now, Rocket City has the easiest schedule. So you just hope the guys can pounce all over it. It's a veteran-laden ball club. And so you'd like to see them take advantage of that, but you still got to get out on the field and do it. But it's going to be a lot of fun coming down these final 4 weeks to see what's going to happen. And what's great about it is it gives the fan base something to really sink its teeth into as we head into the early part of fall.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, they don't have the massive September call-up anymore, right, for the majors? I mean, they're not going to have a 40-man roster in the majors when in September. Is that correct? So maybe the guys are interested in getting to this series and playing it. Because I remember back in the day when I was doing some stuff with the Nashville Stars and stuff that those guys were like, all right, let's get this over so hopefully we can get called up.
Yeah, I haven't heard about what it's going to be like for the major leagues this year. However, I do know that Salt Lake, the AAA team, is not having a good season. So I don't know if the Angels would want to move guys up from AA anyway. I think you get to a point in the year when you look at your minor league system and you take a look at who's playing well, who isn't, who has a chance for a championship, who doesn't. And right now, really, the Trash Pandas are the only team in the Angel system who are really vying for something. So I don't think they'll fiddle with Rocket City too much. In fact, they might add a couple of pieces, guys who aren't ready to move up to the majors, but who they want to see get some playoff experience. So I could definitely see that happening. It just seems like a lot of things are falling into place right now, but the guys need to go out and win, and hopefully they can continue to do that. But they're really in a good spot right now coming down the stretch to try and get a title.
And do you get the sense, I know you don't have the contact with the guys that you would have back in the day, but do you get the sense that they're kind of feeling it too? I mean, we're past the dog days that maybe they're like, they're interested in this, and I would think for certain Jay Bell is. I mean, I would think he would love that opportunity to win some games down the stretch and get into a little 5-game championship series.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're a competitor. I mean, that's what makes you such a great athlete in the first place is you compete. And so there's that little machismo pride that goes with it, and it might not be the World Series, but it's a championship. It's a chance to win a ring. And so when that opportunity presents itself, professional ball players are going to be professionals, and they're going to go out there and try to get it done. I remember when I was in the New York Penn League, that wasn't always the case. There were some guys who were just ready to go home, championship be darned. But these guys are older. They're more mature. Some of them are on their second or third organization. They've been around the block. They know what it means to be a pro. And so now that you're getting down the stretch here and things are getting tight, it gets fun, it gets exciting, and guys want to be a part of it, and they want to keep winning. Otherwise, the bus ride back home is pretty long.
Got some pretty cool promotions coming up when you guys get back to town. We've got 2 more big homestands coming up. The tribute night is going to be really cool as well on 9/11. But just talk about some of the things that you guys got going on when you get back.
Yeah, so we'll have our typical ladies' night on Tuesday with Dog Day on Wednesday. Thursday is going to be kind of interesting. It'll be our Friends Night. The show Friends. We're going to have a T-shirt giveaway with the a making of the Friends logo on the T-shirt. So that'll be a lot of fun. Fireworks on Friday and Saturday. Kids running bases on Sunday. I do know Tuesday will be a doubleheader. We have a game to make up against Tennessee. So we're going to be playing 7 games in 6 days, just like we did against Chattanooga. And it's going to be a lot of fun with that. And then, like you said, 9/11, the 9/11 game, it'll be our second incarnation of that. We had it last year, and it was one of our biggest turnouts for the entire year. Of course, we were under the pandemic at the time. And we drew, I think, about 3,000 people for that game. Northrop Grumman has come on as a sponsor for this upcoming 9/11 game, so we're thrilled to have them on board. And hopefully, we can turn some things around in the pandemic world and draw another big crowd. I'll tell you, Tom, we drew that 3,000 on a high school football Friday last year. So that was pretty impressive. And I'd like to think we can do just as good, if not better, this upcoming season. I know Bama has, I think, Mercer or someone like that, as someone they should beat pretty easily. Not sure who Auburn has, but I'd like to think we can get a pretty good crowd again for that one.
Yeah, Auburn has a layup game, too, that day. I think they're maybe Alabama State or something like that. They have a who does Auburn play? Yeah, Alabama State on 9/11 as well. So, yeah, you should be able to do well with it. The Alabama game is during the game, is during the day. And it'll be interesting to see how the stadium could get used later on in the fall. I'm just saying. I had proposed this last year, and then all hell broke loose in the pandemic and everything else. Obviously, nothing was going to happen. But I could see a time. This is just Tom talking here, Josh. Take it back to the office. But I could see a time when on that Saturday after Thanksgiving that stadium could have a Iron Bowl watch party on the big screen with Auburn fans on one side and Alabama fans on the other side in the outfield watching the Iron Bowl on the big screen. It would be cool to have a watch party for the Iron Bowl down there at the stadium. It's a good idea.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm all for it. I guess the only problem with it is you don't know what weather you're going to get that time of year. I mean, it could be 72 and gorgeous. It could be 45 and miserable.
Yeah.
And, we're also going to be having our Christmas celebration coming back. That's going to be starting up in mid-November, so I don't know how that would impact things either. But you know what? I'm all for it, and I'll be happy to talk to our folks about it, see if we can gain any traction. But, we'll see. One thing I have learned, and maybe you can educate me on this, I've learned that Alabama fans, they're great fans, but they don't like to leave the house on game day. They like to stay. They are homebodies. They like to watch the ball game at home. Auburn fans, they like to go out and mingle a little bit and go to a sports bar or whatever. Bama fans tend to like to stay at home. Do you know any reason for that?
Well, I see the Auburn fan sometimes doesn't really want to watch the game too much. They want to just hang out with all their Auburn fans and stuff. They can commiserate and stuff like. Where the Alabama fan is like hardcore, and they sometimes they don't even want people around them when they're watching the game at home. It's like they shut themselves in and just immerse themselves in the event. But having said that, we have had some in 16 years or 17 years that I've been in the Tennessee Valley, we have hosted some really cool watch parties and had great crowds. I mean, down at Big Spring Park, we've had them at sports bars, and the place would be packed and so on. So there's enough of them out there, that they would love an event like that. I think that it would make some sense. It'd be kind of cool. It'd be also interesting to see, as they use the Hoover Met for a lot of high school football now. Their Hoover High School plays there a lot. I wonder if there'll ever be a time. Now, Madison City has a beautiful stadium, but I wonder if there'll ever be a time where there might be a high school football game or two played in that stadium as well after the season.
Yeah, I guess anything's possible. I know that field has taken a pretty big beating this year because of all the rain.
Yeah.
But we have the best groundskeeper in the business, in Charlie Weaver. He's flat out outstanding at what he does. I guess anything's possible. I mean, we haven't really used it beyond maybe a movie night and a block party and things like that.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what we can do and, more importantly, what needs to be done between the end of the regular season and the beginning of next season to make sure that field is ready for play in April. By the way, we have our schedule release coming up in a couple of hours, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, really? Will the times be on there? Because one of the things I missed, I know this year was all jacked up. It was better than last year. We had no baseball, but this year was kind of different. Do you think that there might be a return to school day game, businessman special? Can we get a few day games during the week? Because those are always, I love those.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that they minor league baseball and Major League Baseball, which is now one entity, but they're still going back and forth trying to decide how to handle all that. I don't see any reason why it couldn't next year, but it would be good to see. I mean, I think they're just one thing I've really admired about Major League Baseball this season is they've really worked hard with minor league baseball to understand minor league baseball.
Yeah.
Understand it's a different product. You've got to do things differently than you do at the major league level. And I think MLB has started to realize that, and I think they have realized that for a while now. And so it's really turned into a very good partnership. So I'll be interested to see how that all shakes out. I haven't heard anything as to game times yet, but I could see that stuff returning because I think MLB has taken this year and really has begun to understand how MILB works and what makes it click and what are some of the positives around it. And so, I hope that returns, and I think there's a strong possibility it could.
Here's my other I always just throw these ideas. I'm an idea guy, Josh. You need to know. I'm just an idea guy. Just throw ideas out there. But here's my other idea. Down in Montgomery, they have the Capital Classic with Alabama and Auburn. They play down there every year. It's a midweek game, and it doesn't count in the SEC standings. It counts in their overall record, so it's a regular season game, but it's a midweek game. From the day that it was announced that stadium was being built there, I'm screaming from the mountaintop, man. Get an Alabama-Tennessee. I mean, they're both really, coming on as strong baseball programs in college baseball, SEC baseball, best baseball in the country, college baseball in the country. And how about Alabama and Tennessee meeting in a battle border, a border war or whatever you want to call it, at Toyota Field in a midweek game. And that would happen before the season starts because, the college season starts before the minor league season would start. So you could actually do that in the last couple of weeks before you guys open your season. But I think it would be a huge draw, and I would love to go see Alabama and Tennessee play in Madison. Little battle for the border.
Hey, listen, I'm all for that stuff, and I think if Alabama and Auburn are smart, and they are, I know the Alabama folks a little bit, but they know all the talent that's up here in North Alabama. They know it's a great recruiting ground. So getting your name up there, getting your product up there, I mean, everyone knows Alabama football. They know Auburn football. They know the basketball teams. Baseball, maybe not as much, but SEC baseball is still a pretty big deal. So come on up here, see what we have to offer in terms of the facility. I'd love to see it happen. I don't see any reason why it can't. It would be a great prep for us, the Trash Pandas, handling a game day. So I would love to see something like that happen, but it's just a matter of the powers that be getting their heads together and hopefully hammering something out.
No, making it happen, have a trophy, a special thing, and it becomes an annual thing. I mean, I know that game's gotten TV coverage and everything else down there in Montgomery in the past. I think that the Tide have played games in the past at Joe Davis. Years ago they used to come and play sometimes at Joe Davis, but with Tennessee coming on this past year being so good in baseball, I just think it would add some juice to that. Josh Caray has been our guest. Josh, and enjoy Biloxi. Hopefully you come back with more money than you went there with. Don't blow your daily paycheck, but it would be nice to see, you get paid to do the game. Maybe you go to the casino, get paid before the game as well, and, and come home with a little extra jingling.
Yeah, I need to work on that, man. I'm already 50 in the hole, so I got to work on that. If I can come back with a little something.
You'll be broadcasting for free this week. Is that when that's up?
Pretty much. Got to be careful, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Josh Caray. Imagine that. Grandfather's Harry Caray. His father, Skip Caray. His daddy. His brother is Chip Caray. And they do that. You know what I mean? You ever notice? You notice that. Grizz, right? I mean, every time there's a foul ball hit, it's like, oh, that ball was caught by a fan from, Mountain, Stone Mountain, Georgia. He does. Am I lying? Did I make that up?
No, you're right. You're right. I honestly think there's more. I think growing up here, I think there's more. I've always thought there's more fans out here than any other place when it comes to Braves. To be honest with you, because it just stinks. It just stinks.
Atlanta,
like,
you mean?
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah, a lot of times when I was in Atlanta, because I didn't talk Braves too much. Like I got made fun of for being an Alabama fan more times than ever talking about Braves when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I think growing up here, especially with our minor league teams, it's like that's what's such a bummer about the Trash Pandas a lot of times, is especially this year, is we didn't get to watch any of the Mississippi Braves. You know what I mean? And that's an added bonus, when they come into town and stuff like that, because there's a lot of hardcore fans around here that would love to see some of the younger talent, come into town and play.
You don't want to pull in for. You don't want to.
I get
sound
that.
like. You know what I mean? Is that the last two nights? Let's be honest. Truist, the last two nights.
Yeah.
You heard a lot of "Let's Go Yankees."
Well, that's what happens when the Red Sox come to town too.
Yeah,
like the Red Sox do that a lot of times, even when they're bad.
You get these big time teams in there, and then all of a sudden there's as many people pulling for. It was on the one hand, I wanted to go to see the Yankees and the Braves play at Truist, but on the other hand, I didn't want to, because when I go to Truist, I want to pull for the Braves. I want to pull for the home team. And the Braves are my favorite team in the National League, so I want to go and be a Braves fan when I go there. And I don't want to go there and root for the visiting team, which is what I would definitely be doing if I went to a Yankees-Braves game. So I don't want to do that. It was the same thing with when the Bruins play in Nashville. Like, I love the Nashville Predators. I did pregame for 6 years, on the Nashville Predators, and I was into all of that Preds. And then my kids are like, oh, the Bruins are coming to play the Preds.
Yeah.
And I've been to a couple of Bruins games there, but I'm like, it's uncomfortable to go to see the Bruins play the Preds because I am pulling for the Bruins in that game, and I want to go to a Preds game. I want to pull for the Preds. You know what I mean? I want to pull for the Preds in that game. So
there's a lot of times where I go to Auburn, and just growing up an Alabama fan, especially going to the Iron Bowl, you kind of have to keep your mouth shut in the media room, because nobody likes a fan in the media room.
You don't cheer in the media
room,
and
you don't cheer in the media room. You just don't cheer at all.
Yeah.
But it just feels weird, growing up like that for a long time, and then but. You grow to embrace it though too, because you see a lot of the smiles and a lot of the joy of going to different towns and different colleges and stuff like that.
When I was covering games for CBS Sports Radio, my beat was Tuscaloosa, Knoxville, or Auburn, and when you're in the press, obviously we're very, very busy, because I was on the radio every 10 minutes. I was on the air, so it wasn't like I had time to be cheering for anybody or pulling for anybody. But there were a lot of times, and it was only the 2:30. If CBS had the game on TV, then I would string the game on the radio. So if they were doing it, if it was a 2:30 TV game, they would also have it in their rotation on the. So I didn't go to a lot of cupcake games. I didn't go to those kind of games very often. They were always decent games. But there were times where I hated that I had to go to Knoxville. Alabama was playing a good game, and I had to go to Knoxville for the Tennessee-Florida game.
Yeah.
Or I had to go to Auburn. You get out of Birmingham. That stretch from Birmingham through Montgomery, or that stretch really from Montgomery to Auburn is a real pain.
I'll say this. You can send me we got approved, so we are going to quite a few Auburn games this year. So
you're a big Auburn fan.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, I know
I'm an Auburn homer now. Apparently, you know what I mean. My parents hate that, but they probably hated hearing that. But
the only reason you got all the Auburn, you're covering the Auburns, is because Drew gloms onto the Alabama credential. Because I don't know why, but Drew's the only one that gets our credential to Alabama, which is crazy. But that's all right. He's Drew. And
unless it's
nobody
Steve.
wants
Steve
to
gets
go
the
to
away
Auburn.
Games.
Nobody wants to go to Auburn, so you end up going to the Auburn.
Steve gets all the Mississippi State games. Like, he gets credentialed to all the Mississippi State games, even though it's like the different. It's the wrong Bulldogs. He wants the Georgia ones, but he keeps getting credentialed to every Mississippi State home game. It seems like they just need somebody.
I'll be honest though. I did all of that kind of stuff. I went to every Titans game for 7 or 8 years, covering that for CBS.
It's fun.
I'll be honest.
I enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Go ahead.
I enjoy it.
No, you know what?
My knees don't.
You know what? Enjoy it. enjoy it, put it in your bucket list, enjoy it, have fun with it. But you're 32 years old. The time is going to come where it's just a pain in the ass. I'll be honest with you, and you're not getting a check to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, I was getting a check to do it.
Is that why? Is that why now? Like they think we may not be, especially this year, we may not be able to have player interviews, get into the locker rooms, media stuff
really
like that.
annoying.
Like, do you think eventually it's just going to be like they're going to get to the point? It's like, you know what? Just stay home. Yeah,
it has gotten to the point.
It's just not, and that's not cool. That's not cool to think about.
I got to be honest with you. I did 2 NFL or two Monday night football games for CBS when the Titans were playing on Monday night, where I covered 2 Monday night football games for them, doing the hits from the studio, from right here. Just put the game on here in the studio, and instead of fighting the traffic and everything else and all that kind of stuff, and I told them, they said, "You're going to be at the game." I said, "Well, I mean, I can go to the game." I said, "The only thing you'll be lacking is an interview." "Well, we don't need an interview at midnight, because we don't need a midnight interview Eastern time." So I said, "So if I don't have to be there, if you just want my reports every 10 minutes, I am going to, I'm going to do it from my studio." And they said, "That's fine. Nobody will know the difference." So there were twice that I had the game on in here and did it from the studio. It gets to be, and like I say, enjoy it, do your thing, but it gets to be too much work sometimes. I liked it. I really loved it for a number of years. I mean, I did the college side for 10 years. I did the NFL for 7 years.
Yeah.
And there was a time I was doing both at the same time. For 6 or 7 years, I did both I was at a college game on Saturday and an NFL game on Sunday, every weekend. And it would be like, if you get an interview afterwards, if you get us a player from the Titans locker room afterwards, it's an extra $75. So you're going to hang around for an extra half hour. I do my last hit at the end of the game. I was getting paid to do the game, right? I get to cover, get paid to do 3 hits an hour during the game. And then they say, if you get us somebody out of the locker room, it's an extra $75. So I'm going to hang around for an extra 45 minutes to an hour to go downstairs in the locker room and get some player who doesn't want to say anything to come on and do a 3-minute interview with me on national radio, coast to coast, for $75. It got to the point where I didn't do the interviews. I mean, it wasn't like unless it was a huge game, it got to the point where, you know what, I'm not going to go fight down there it's a younger man's deal, is what I'm saying, I guess. And now, you know what, there are some games I wish I could be at, and I say, you know what, I could go to that game. There are people I can call and get credentialed to go to a game. I like going to the playoff games or a national championship game or something like that. But for the most part, that ship has sailed for me. Now, you're young, enjoy it. You're single, you got no kids and a wife at home, so take it all in. But it doesn't suck to be, when I got to start sitting on the couch on Saturday and Sunday, it doesn't suck. I got to be honest with you. Bathroom's over there and the kitchen's over there. It doesn't suck. Let me get a break. Worst press box food in the SEC is at Vanderbilt. The Neyland Stadium, they used to always have quiche. Quiche. Oh, God.
Arkansas was pretty bad one year.
And the best is I love a Denny dog. I think the best press box food has been. And I'll tell you what. I've covered a number of Chick-fil-A games, both bowl games and Chick-fil-A kickoff classics. And I love the folks at Chick-fil-A, and I really enjoy Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But to go cover a game like that and go to the press room and get a Chick-fil-A sandwich, no, you got to go better than that. You got to do better than that.
I'm not gonna lie, Auburn is either Full Moon or Chick-fil-A, and I appreciate it every time I'm in there. That
Good
Full
cookies.
Moon, man.
Good cookies at Auburn.
That Full Moon barbecue, baby.
Good chocolate chip cookies at Auburn. They always have good cookies. All right, let me get a break. We'll come back, and a rule in college football this year that you may or may not be aware of that really is annoying me. I'm going to be annoyed when we come back. So stay tuned for that on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We know it's lonely at the top, but we don't mind.
National championship number 18. 13 in all. Absolute perfection.
Roll Tide. Join us on Saturday, September 4th, as the Crimson Tide brave the storm against the Miami Hurricanes in the season opener on your home for Bama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann?
Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home, downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhhsriserealestate.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the WZDX Bend Point Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-90s. Heat indices anywhere between 103 and 107 degrees. Unlike the last couple of days where we stayed dry through the heart of the afternoon, I think a couple of extremely isolated, widely scattered showers are going to be possible across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Don't let this scare you. Odds are better than not. Your Wednesday afternoon and even your Wednesday evening probably going to end up staying dry. But there is a chance of an isolated passing shower. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Everything.
Funny, Chris. Don't be BSing a BSer, Grizz. You're funny. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by TOC Sports. I don't know if you know this or not, because I didn't know this. Do you know that when your doctor gives you a referral, is going to give you a referral to an orthopedic, that you can tell him who you want to see? So when your doctor, if you go see your doctor, you know, Dr. Vinny Boombutts, when you go see your doctor and he says, I need you to, you know, I want you to, here's a referral for a orthopedic to take a look at that shoulder that's bothering you. You may need surgery, you may not, you need rehab, whatever. You then at that point in time have the option to tell him, hey, I want to see the docs at TOC. Now, chances are, yeah, it's TOC, you know what I mean? So chances are he's referring you to TOC anyway. But just in case, I want you to understand that when they refer you or are going to refer you, you have control over who it is that you see. You tell them I want to see the docs at TOC. And then when you get to the docs at TOC, tell them that Thom Abraham said you need to see the docs at TOC. I should do the Phil Valentine thing in honor of my good friend Phil Valentine, who lost his battle with COVID. I should do the tell him Thom Abraham said, hey. Anybody ever listen to Phil Valentine? Phil would always say he'd do a live read. He was the best at live reads. Phil, man, he could do a live read. So Phil would do a live read, and at the end of the live read, he'd say, and tell him Phil Valentine said, hey. Maybe I should do that. You go see Bobby White. And when you're over there, tell him the big dog said, hey. Did you ever listen to Phil, Grizz? You never listen to Phil?
Not really, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
no.
Phil was good. He was good. He was self-deprecating, very conservative. A lot of the haters out there are all like, oh, glad that ventilator is freed up. I mean, they're really nasty people. There are some really, really nasty. The man died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he do parody songs about anti-vaxxing? You know that song, The Tax Man?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Beatles? Well, he did it. He parodied the song and did it under The Vax Man and rewrote it. And Phil was a band member years ago. He started out in radio as a musician. So he did the song and he did it as a parody. And he wasn't a full-out anti-vaxxer, but he was like, he would joke a lot about it and things like that. The last things he said was, I was wrong. He told his brother to please get the message out. I was wrong. Tell people I was wrong that I didn't push it more. And what he said was, when I get back on my show, I'm going to promote the vaccine more. I was wrong. He never got back on his show. He never got off the ventilator. So, anyway. The new rules in college football. Every year there's some tweaking of rules in college football. I maybe talked about this 6-8 months ago when it came down, but I want to throw this out there to you a little bit because I don't know if you're aware of this. After the first overtime touchdown, teams can still either kick or have an extra point. They can either kick the extra point or go for a 2-point conversion. In the second overtime, beginning in the second overtime. Remember, it used to be never. Then they made it beginning in the third overtime. You had to go for 2. So now, in the second overtime, you're required to go for 2. Okay. In the third overtime, you're required to go for 2. I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. Did you know, Grizz, and our listeners, I don't know if they knew, beginning after the third overtime, if a game goes in, and we've seen a number of games, they go into a fourth overtime, a fifth overtime, the beginning in the fourth overtime, they're just putting the ball on the 2-yard line. You just go for 2. We're getting in the layup line. We're just going to get in the layup line after 3 overtimes. And they're just going for 2. We're going to decide a football game. We are going to decide a battle that took 60 minutes on the field. We are going to decide potentially a position in a conference championship game. My God, are we going to decide a position in a national championship game? Are the rules the same? Yes, is the answer. In the semifinal games, we are going to decide potentially the national championship on penalty kicks.
Do field goals.
We're gonna put
best
the ball
of 5 field goals.
We're gonna put the ball on the 2-yard line. And they're like, well, we want to cut down on plays, and you want to cut. Let me tell you something. The most violent plays in football are goal line plays. So we're just gonna line up and go goal line play, 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 goal line play. This is horrendous.
You're going to see 8 guys in the box constantly smashing each other. You're going to see a lot of hefty sets. You're going to see defensive tackles playing fullback half the time.
Or go spread and try to do it, get in that way. Maybe run an option. Maybe run. Everybody has their 2-point package.
Yeah.
The point is, if you want to go with, if you want to go with the 2-point conversion after every score, I don't care if you do that with the first one.
Yeah.
You want to say you got to go for 2 after every touchdown? That'll shorten things. You want to do that? That's fine. I thought they were going to say that the new rule would be after the second overtime, they're going to put the ball back at the 40 where it belongs or at midfield. I hate the 25-yard line. I hate that they put the ball in scoring position when a game might have gone on the entire game and the team barely ever got into scoring position. Yeah. When Alabama lost 9-6 because they couldn't hit a field goal against LSU, all of a sudden, it's a 6-6 game. LSU had kicked a couple of long field goals. LSU had never saw the inside of the 25-yard line. And now, because the game's in OT, we're going to put the ball in scoring position. So now what they're going to do after 3 OTs, they're going to put the ball on a 2-yard line. And we're just going to do 2-point conversions. And we're going to decide a battle that has taken place, an epic battle that has taken place for 60 minutes. I'd rather have the damn game tied. We're going to have a winner and a loser on 2-point conversions. Horrendous. It's terrible. Or terrible. The other rule change is a minor uniform tweak that I am happy about. I don't know if you heard about this, Grizz. Yeah, it's a uniform undergarment rule. No more T-shirts sticking out under your uniform over your butt. If you have a T-shirt on under your, you got a dry sweat, whatever they call them, one of them T-shirts that's on underneath your jersey.
Yeah, like Under Armour.
Under your pad, yeah, Under Armour, whatever. It has to end either at your midriff with your uniform shirt going to your pants, or it can end at your belt. But there's no more of this T-shirts over your ass. You know what I mean? How that was sloppy. It looked terrible. It was not uniform. So I'm glad that they are doing it. Yeah. Players who are in violation of the new rule will be sent to the sidelines. T-shirt or undergarments aren't allowed to extend below the torso or waistline. Instead of a penalty on the field stopping the game, you just get sent off the field. So go ahead. Make that mistake. You're the key running back or a receiver, and it's going to be a key third down play. That's as bad as a penalty. That's worse than a penalty. Get out of here. Go get that shirt fixed.
So is it okay if they do like the Ezekiel Elliott thing that he does and like roll it up under his
No,
gear?
You can't show your midriff anymore.
You can't show your belly?
You You can't show your belly anymore. You can do that pregame.
Yeah.
But you can't show your belly anymore.
Well, that's good, though, because I like you got to be uniform. You got to be a team. And I think it looks kind of tacky when you do. Like, I don't care if people wear, like, real baggy long-sleeve shirts underneath when it's cold or whatever, or, like, a better grip. But when you wear it long sleeve like that, you just look like you're wearing a long white tee underneath your,
well, it looks sloppy.
Underneath your gear. Yeah.
You just look sloppy when you're wearing a shirt that goes over your butt, a T-shirt that's hanging out under your jersey. Your jersey should end at your
And players only did that for appearances. It wasn't like it was like an advantage or anything. It was stylish or whatever, That was stupid.
Well, who you didn't see do it was Alabama players for the most part. I mean, I don't remember, I can't remember off the top of my head from other players.
Nah.
But you never saw Alabama. And here's the thing, you get pulled down by that. We have seen players where they grab the shirt and they pull the shirt and you get tackled that way.
Hair's a jersey, shirt's a jersey. I mean, anything that that goes over that jersey, I mean, it's fair game. And if I was playing, hair would be my number one thing I'd be pulling, especially if you've got really long hair coming out of that.
Nick Saban won't allow the long hair out of the helmet. Now, if you can have the dreads, but that's why you got to have that thing like where you bundle it up and you put it in a thing. You know what I mean? And it's like all bundled up there.
I don't have that problem because I can't grow that hair.
No, but you don't see an Alabama player running around with their hair so long it covers their numbers or goes down over their neck, because that's another way for them to tackle you. Why would you want to give the other team another advantage? Let's get a break and wrap it up. It's Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Brooks & Collier has always been about making the most of your outdoors. Our lush greenhouse and new furniture ideas will inspire you, but we're also about value. Our brands are so handsome, they'll make themselves comfortable inside or out. And so well made, they'll weather the weather for many years to come. Our staff can consult you on the right choices. And Lucy, for sure, can show us the sofa that's the most comfortable. Make the most of your outdoors. Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great-grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314. This is Eli Gold of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. A new contract and expanded playoffs with the same results. Listen to Alabama football on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
People stay just a little bit longer. We want to play.
Have you got your Metro Diner yet? Metro Diner is selling right now on Zone Deals. I'll wait. Go ahead. I mean, just go there. Go to 977 ESPN.com, and you can see the link there on the sliders and so on to take you right to our Zone Deals, and or you can go to wzzn.zonedeals.com, and you can wzzn.halfoffdeals.com, or just go to the app.
Deal.
Just go anywhere.
No S.
Deal. Half off deal?
Yeah.
wzzn.halfoffdeal.com.
Singular.
All right. Go get that deal. All right. Go click on that thing. I like them going to the website. You know what I mean? And you could, if you go to 977ESPN.com, you can get everything.
Yeah, you can just click on it on the little image slider. It's like right there on the front page.
Yeah, everything is right there. And you get $50 a Metro Diner, good at any Metro Diner, for just 25 bones. You want to go and take advantage of that. And Bad Daddy's Burgers is back next week on Zone Deals as well. So, make sure you have that thing saved. Opt in on that thing. You'll get emails and so on and so forth to tell you what is coming up. Big weekend as usual. Not as big as next weekend, but big Friday night of action here coming up this Friday night. Scottsboro at Madison Academy with Steve and Glenn Laird on that one on our primary stream. And on Zone 2, it'll be Huntsville High hosting Mountain Brook at Milton Frank with Austin Coletti and Drew DeArmond on that game. Get the app. You get Zone 2. You listen to the game. Even if you're at the game. You listen to it. Comes in better than the radio at the game. To be honest with you. Have it on your app. Put your headphones in. You listen to the game. Close your eyes for a minute so the game delays or something. Because it will be a little bit delayed. I will tell you that. Grumpy has a good question as to whether or not Brian Harsin will have to go through regular testing now that he's tested positive because his body will have the antibodies now. I don't know that answer. I'll have to ask that question. That's a good question. Coming up next, it is Chuck Oliver right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our Zone Deal this week is truly an award winner. Metro Diner, serving up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest priced mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. Right now, you can get $50 worth of great Metro Diner food for half price, just $25 with our Zone Deal. Just log on 977ESPN.com to get yours.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound